What's up, guys? Welcome back to the first new rebranded episode of the Full-Time Show, no longer the Full-Time Podcast. Just 'cause it's easy, we've got some cool graphics we're going to chuck in on the left and right of us. We're joined by our resident host, Dan South, as normal.
All right, mate.
And in today's video slash podcast, I don't know what we're going to call it. We're going to be saying what we think our 2021 Premier League predictions will be. So going from, we said bottom up. So we're going to go from our 20th place to our first place, who we think are going to be there, who we think might struggle, and give our reasons for it. Obviously, we're not professionals. We don't actually know what's going to happen. This is solely based on what we both think is going to happen. We might be completely wrong. We can revisit it in a year and see if we're right or wrong. We might be completely right, might be completely wrong. We never know. The Premier League does change, and with everything happening, with coming out of lockdown, obviously we've based our results on what football we've seen in the last year, and obviously coming out of lockdown, some of that's changed. But if we started from, I can go first if you want, or Dan, do you want to go first?
Yeah, go on.
Okay,
well, we've got the same one.
We have got the same one. So in slap bang 20th, we've both gone for Fulham. So Fulham have newly been promoted. I really don't see them staying up. I don't think they have a good enough team. Obviously, they've got some players coming back from loan. Obviously, you've got Jean-Michel Seri, who they loaned out last year. They bought in for their Premier League season and then get relegated straight away. Obviously, winning the playoffs, give them a lot of money. But in a couple of months ago, their chairman, or their owner, Shahid Khan, I think he's called.
I think so.
Said, come out in a conference and said that this Fulham squad's not going to change. He's going to buy maybe a couple players, give players new contracts, but they're not really going to change the squad. And with an ideology like that, I really don't see them doing anything better.
Yeah, you sort of need a little bit more than that, don't you? You need some sort of progression, whether that be on the pitch or coaching.
So obviously they've got Scott Parker, who's done great, coming into it. But are they going to survive in the Prem? I really don't think so. I don't think you think so either, do you?
No, I doubt it, to be honest. So as much as I like Fulham, I don't see him staying in the league.
Yeah, obviously you've got Mitrovic, who could, he's always been there to bang goals. So hopefully if they can keep him, they might prove us wrong and stay up. But I don't really know about that. I just don't think they, as I'm going to mention further on in this, I don't think the Premier League's evolved so much this year with new players. The quality of football is just so much better this year, or it's going to be better this year from what you've seen to the end of last year. So I just don't see them staying up. But we could be wrong, as we said. It's all what we think, and obviously it's subjective to what we think. So I think if we go up a space into 19th, we both said the same again. We both said that obviously on the same wavelength. Yeah, we both said Aston Villa. I just don't think they have a good enough squad. They don't seem like they have good enough players. Obviously, Pepe Reina's going, so you've got Tom Heaton's going to be the number one again. Which, okay, if they get a few injuries, I don't think they've got backup keepers good enough. And obviously, Grealish, if they lose Grealish, they're not going to get the points that they needed. He was a key man last year, and I don't think
exactly
to stay up.
I think he's their key man. They barely survived last year, and if they lose him, then I just don't see where their goals and where their creativity is coming from.
Yeah, I don't.
It'll be nice to see who they buy to sort of fill that void, but they're going to get a lot of money for him.
Yeah, and he has been linked to a lot of teams, but it's kind of died out in the last week or so. Obviously, he was linked to United, linked to City, but to be fair, he just needs to go to a Champions League club or something in Europe, even in Arsenal. I know Arsenal are not even in. They are in the Europa League because it's the FA Cup, but
he would be a good signing for us now.
Yeah, that's I think who they need, and not a younger and brighter Özil, but someone that Özil first brought to the team when he first came, fast and dynamic, that they can use, and he can play across the front. So into anything, and then I don't know, moving on to 18th, so our last relegation spot. I've gone for West Brom, and I think West Brom, they've got a good team. They've got a lot of I'd say promise, or they've got a good squad. They've obviously signed Mateus Pereira, who they had on loan last season, who banged goals in Championship like nothing, was one of their best players. But I just don't feel like they have a team suited to the Premier League again. Premier League's getting more competitive. I just don't think they have players when they're in the Premier League last, they were terrible. They struggled so much. Obviously, they've got Slaven Bilic, who's got a lot of experience in the Prem, obviously managing West Ham. But I don't know. I think it's so competitive this year. I just don't think they have the team to do it. Obviously, they've got a lot of youngsters. They've lost that Nathan Ferguson to Palace. So I don't know how they're going to rebrand with that.
He went on a free, didn't he?
Yeah, so you never know. They could do well. Obviously, it's subjective, as we said. I'm going to keep mentioning throughout. I just don't think they have the team to keep it. So that's my point of view for 18th.
Well, I have gone for Brighton, and I think the reason is that I think they have a good sort of team feel. Like they're quite a solid bunch of players, and their manager's actually quite bright. But I just think they're just not good enough. I think there's only so much regenerating your team that you can do before you sort of run out, and without the money coming in, I just don't think Brighton will be able to survive this year. I might be wrong, but I didn't see too much from them this season to suggest that they'll be any better this year. I know it's their new manager's first year in charge, and he done pretty well to keep them up. But yeah, I think it's another relegation battle, and I think they're going to lose out, to be honest.
Yeah, I think for me, obviously going into 17th place, I've put Brighton myself. So I think for me, Brighton and West Brom was a bit of a throw up because it's either going to be one of them for me. I think Brighton, like as you said, they did have a good restart from over obviously the COVID situation tournaments. They had a great restart. Like they did well, obviously against Arsenal. They had players that obviously played out of their skin, but is that because they had so much time rest and match preparation for all of these games compared to in a normal season when it's games coming at you thick and fast? And I just feel like their squad, as you said, just is great characters. Obviously, you got Lewis Dunk, who's their captain. You're great characters, things like that. But I just don't. If they lose someone like Lewis Dunk, I don't think they're gonna.
It's hard to replace, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, there's only so many teams in the league that play like Brighton. They're quite a physical backline.
Yeah.
Quite a physical
like
midfield, and then like relying on their wingers and strikers to produce magic. I think it's probably more technical than that. It definitely is more technical than that. But,
just whip it into the big boy up front and it was all goals.
Yeah, little and large up front. But I don't think they're good enough.
Yeah. So for 17th, what have you gone for?
So I've gone for Crystal Palace. Again, I think they're on borrowed time in this league, but I don't think it'll be next year that they will go down. Main reason is because Roy Hodgson, albeit he's kept him up and he's done really well, but he's sort of, I don't know. I don't want to speak for him, but like he just doesn't have that. Especially if Wilfried Zaha leaves.
Yeah.
If Wilfried Zaha leaves, then maybe I'll have to revisit my prediction. But but when Tottenham played them last game of the season, I saw bits from him, but there weren't that spark. Like apart from Zaha, it was sort of give the ball to Zaha, see what happens.
Yeah, it's almost like lackluster football. Like,
and if he doesn't play well, then they don't tend to play well. I don't think he's consistent enough to keep it going over a long period of time.
Yeah, and I feel like he can move to them bigger teams. He's got that options to move to other teams and play like an Arsenal side. Like he has that, and I reckon he's had that for 2 years. But to be fair to him, he's wanted to stick out of Palace, and fair to him, he's kept in the Premier League. And
he signed like he said he wanted to leave. Didn't happen, so he signed a new contract. So it's given Crystal Palace all the power now.
Yeah. And then I've gone in the same thing, almost like the last prediction. I've gone for Palace in 16th. Literally, as you said, had a decent season last season. It was that Hodgson's third or second campaign with them.
I think it's third.
I just don't think he can do it again. I don't think he's going to be able to like grind through them results, as we said again. Premier League's changing, better teams, better players. I haven't seen them sign anyone massive in that stature of like mid-table teams that can bring them through. They never seem to be linked to them like either not world-class talents, but like talents that will bring them through, like Zaha or someone that's going to be young and exciting through. Obviously, they take a lot of pride in their youngsters, and they have a big squad, I'm pretty sure.
Albeit though, they did sign Nathan Ferguson.
Yeah, and he is
quite a good player.
But because obviously you've got Scott Down, he's got to be 34, 35 now.
Yeah, he's getting on.
So yeah, that's a good replacement for him. But like going up front, or like if you think of Palace, you're thinking of Benteke hasn't been good since his Villa days when he left to Liverpool. he's not ever done that again. You got is it Jordan Ayew, I think, who had a good season last year? Can he produce it again?
I think only one player scored more than 10 goals for him.
Yeah. So you kind of need to bring in them big hitters.
I could be wrong, but yeah.
Yeah. I just don't see that team. Like in the midfield, obviously, they got Mahajovic, I think, and they got Chiarte and things like that. They're solid players. They're great players for like a mid-table team. But throughout the season, I don't think they're going to stay as highly as they did last season. I think they're going to be pushing it. And obviously, as we said, if they lose Zaha, it's going to be a totally different story because they need to bring in someone else that can do that. But I saw they're linked to Ryan Fraser, who could be that Zaha replacement. Or if they get him, that'd be a great coup. Obviously, they got Andros Townsend, who hasn't done that amazing since going there. His first season was decent, a mid-table team, but you just got to see if they can bring in. If to be fair, they could bring in a couple of talents. I don't know, money-wise, I don't think they have that much money. They're just an average Premier League team. Yeah. So fingers crossed, like for them or for their fans as well, they bring in someone that's going to excite the crowd again. Obviously, if the crowds are actually there, come like December time, come time when it starts again. But yeah, I just feel like they're not going to be as good as they were last year. I think they had a good run near towards the end of pre-lockdown. I think they had a decent run. They've picked up some points here and there.
Yeah,
and that obviously helped them. And obviously post-lockdown, it just helped them with training and that. But they've just got it's just a Hodgson mentality. Can they keep it? Obviously, he's got a plan for a certain amount of years with the certain players, and then if these players leave, it then does mess up the plan. But you've just got to see.
Yeah, I feel the same about Palace. But yeah, well, when you've got them 16, I've got West Brom 16th.
Yeah.
I do think they'll stay up. Obviously, I don't know too much about them, but West Brom have got a bit of pedigree in the league. They know what they're doing. I don't know who the manager is, to be honest. I don't really know too much about them. Oh, it is Bilic. Sorry, you said that earlier. I do think they'll stay up, but it'll be a mix up between them, Palace, and Brighton. I think.
Yeah, I think we might have a proper relegation run on our hands.
Obviously, scrap this year.
Yeah, which would be good for the fans if obviously you see it on TV, but if you're allowed in the stadiums, is going to be a thing. And when football's back like that, hopefully they wanted to say like December time, but who knows at the moment with everything going on. But yeah, nicely segmenting our way into 15th. Obviously, a new team into the Premier League that should have been in the Premier League years and years and years ago. I went for Leeds in 15th. I think they've got manager is amazing. Bielsa, is probably one of the most prominent managers coming into the Premier League that everyone wants to see. Like everyone wants to see that Leeds team versus City versus Pep. Maybe not against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but versus the Lampards, like versus your Jose Mourinho's, like stuff like that. And I think that Leeds team at the moment, the way they've got promoted, there's such a unity of the team. Like they've had their players been kicking around there for years, and I think it's going to be obviously the excitement of going up as well. I think that will probably keep them in. They've obviously got a lot of money coming in with the owners of the club as well. So when they want to bring, and obviously you've seen from the championship season, they've got young players that don't just lie down or die. They will fight for the shirt. They'll fight for their place. And in a team like Leeds, you want to see that. You want to see like young players coming through. And obviously in the last couple, like I think 2-3 years, Leeds have probably developed quite a lot of talent that will some way find their way into Premier League teams in the top 6 in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think, well, especially with Leeds, their manager's not going to let them roll over.
Yeah, it's Bielsa as well. So.
He's going to give him a bollocking every time he sees a little bit of laziness. So, yeah, I think it's a good prediction. I've got them actually in 14th. But, I've got them one place higher. But, I think it'll be a long season for them. But it'll be good to have them back, I think. They'll ruffle a few feathers, definitely.
That's just good matchups now, like having Leeds in the back in the Prem, Leeds versus Arsenal. I know, obviously not a direct rival, but has rivalry throughout the years.
Yeah, definitely. Well, 15th, I've gone for Burnley. They were pretty decent last year, weren't they? I can't remember where they finished, but yeah, I think they'll struggle this season.
I think they're top 12.
They seem to go in. Yeah, they seem to go in cycles. Burnley. They can have a really poor year, and then a really good year. and then a really poor year. So I'm predicting to have a poor year, to be honest.
Yeah, see, I like Burnley. I like Sean Dyche. Obviously, he's been around for years. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But I think I'll go to my 14th, and then obviously we'll see where Burnley is. So I've gone for Newcastle in 14th. Obviously, pre or like mid lockdown, it was said that Newcastle were getting bought out by Saudi owners, a Saudi group, and they're going to get all these money, and they were linked to all these amazing players. They were linked to like Cavani and like Dries Mertens and all this. But unfortunately, I don't. It's something that's down to the UK government or something like this as well, and stuff. They've blocked them buying it, and they've now lost interest. But there's been loads going on about them supposedly now going to like a governing body to get it back, or try and rebuy them, or try and buy them. But yeah, I put them in 14th. I think if the takeover doesn't happen, which is looking not very likely now, as the government have said, or as the footballing body have said, I just don't think. Obviously, they've got good players in like St. Maxim. Obviously, you've had Joe Linton come in last season, but I don't think he's hit the heights that he should have. Obviously, I just don't know. I think the hit with them not getting taken over, I just don't think they're gonna repeat or be as good. Like obviously, they'll be a mid-table team, and it is a bit sad not seeing them being taken over and taken back up to the top like they used to be. But yeah, I just think their squad, they've got a bunch of good talent in there, but then they've got a bunch of like championship players, as you would say, or players not good enough or not good enough, but shouldn't really be playing in the Premier League, or not to the level that you'd expect in the Premier League. But if they can recruit well, obviously, I don't know what money Mike Ashley's actually putting into the football team at the moment, if any, with what's going on. So I don't know if they're going to get anyone in. But yeah, for me, I just see them as solid 14th. They've always knocked around mid-table to bottom table. So I just don't see a real change with Newcastle for me.
Newcastle. Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. I've got them for 13th. Yeah, they'll be about, but I think they're on the edge of being just about good enough to not go down.
Yeah.
Steve Bruce is just a solid manager.
Yeah, it's just weird how Steve Bruce is now managing Newcastle.
He just gets the job done, you know.
Yeah.
So,
traditional English manager.
I've got much to say about Newcastle. Yeah, we sort of swapped around with Burnley and Newcastle, really, didn't we? You got Burnley above Newcastle.
Yeah, so I've got Burnley in 13th. Obviously, we were saying Burnley. Obviously, Sean Dyche, very good manager in the Premier League. He knows his system. He seems to always buy the players that just work for them. Obviously, had Jay Rodriguez coming in this season, not doing amazing, but he suits the style of play for Burnley. And I just see them as a solid mid-table team. I think they probably overachieved this season, or last season to say. I think they did do extremely, obviously, post-lockdown, helping them out a lot with points and play. Obviously, you got youngsters like Dwight McNeil and people coming through like that. Obviously, if they can keep them, because obviously he was linked to a lot. He's been linked to like Chelsea, AC Milan, and things like that. So it's just about keeping the team. And I just think the way Sean Dyche plays football is really not going to die out in the Premier League ever. Because I think you've always got them players that are suited to that football. Like you've got your tall, strong centre backs that are willing to put their body on the line. You've got a solid keeper. You've got your tall striker and your like small runner that's going to be in behind you. You've got your pacey wingers that can cross it in. So I think that type of football with Burnley has always worked, and I feel like it always will work for them. So moving up, on the league, obviously Southampton, where we both went to university, I've predicted them to be 12th. I mean, they had a decent season last season. I think they were 10th or around 10th place, I think.
Yeah, in the end, I think they were around mid-table.
And obviously, they've just Højbjerg's just gone to Spurs, and obviously they bring in Kyle Walker-Peters, who's a decent player for them. I think they're not going to be relegated at all. I think the team will kick about in mid-table. I think they've got a good team, Danny Ings, who hopefully will get a call up for England soon, which he deserves. But yeah, I think they've got a solid team. They've seem to be recruited well. So fingers crossed they actually stay. Well, they're going to stay up. So I don't know why I'm saying fingers crossed they stay up. I just feel like they're a decent team in the Prem, and will stick in the Prem for years to come. Don't really have much.
He's got a good manager.
Yeah,
very good manager. He's. I've heard a lot of people describe his style of football to like the ultimate pressing machine sort of thing, kind of like Bielsa.
Yeah,
like he's a very likable guy as well, and they've always got youngsters come through, and they're willing to trust them. So
Which
I
is
like Southampton. They're a good team. So in 12th, I've gone for West Ham. Um, it may be a little bit of bias in there because I don't think they're very good. But I just don't see how they fit as a team. They've got a lot of good individual players um, that that collectively can do pretty well, but they just haven't got that sort of team mentality where they're able to do things for one another. They're able to cover one another. They haven't got that understanding yet. And I think that might come, but I don't see it being this season. They've always been sort of like a nearly club. Like they've got a lot of resources to be quite a force, but they're never really on the verge of pushing on.
yeah, I get what you mean. For me, I've put them 10th. I think they might have a semi-decent season. Like,
Yeah,
I think now they've had a year to maybe brisk, well, they've had a year to nearly get relegated and know what they can and can't do with David Moyes with his tactics coming in back again, obviously being their manager. And they do have a great team. Like they have a very, like you said, they have individuals and not a team. And obviously, hopefully, over the break, they've been able to like solve that and think of their best lineup. Obviously, they have a lot, as you said, a lot, and I've just said they have a lot of good players. You've got your Declan Rice. Hopefully, he can stay because that is I think he's pivotal to that West Ham team. I think with that, but then you've even got like older players like Mark Noble, obviously been around the club for years, knows what's going on. He can still cut it in the Premier League, and he's a still decent midfielder for them. And then obviously up front, Haller didn't have the greatest season last year, but he's got another year to try and perform, and he was one of he was a top 10 striker in the Bundesliga. So I don't see why he can't replicate that form in the Premier League with a team like not an amazingly aging team of West Ham. I think they're all going to hit their they're not near to their peaks, but they're getting to like prime football now. So hopefully under Moyes they can repeat like near to what the end of the season they had last year, because they did have a good end to the season, and it did show the players gelling more in matches that were key and pivotal to them. So hopefully they can keep up that, and I just feel like they're going to do better than everyone really expects.
Yeah, they tended to stick to sort of big name signings, which hasn't really worked for them, given big wages. But yeah, I've seen a little bit of that changing. So yeah, I think if they can recruit right and get some team spirit in there, I don't see why they can't creep up the table. But I don't think it'll be this year.
No, we'll have to wait and see when we visit this league.
Let's hope not anyway.
Wrong, yeah. But yeah, we've gone both similar in the 11th position. We've both gone for Sheffield United. Obviously, the Premier League was their what's called their debut season this year, and they did well. They did great. They were top 10.
Yeah, they did.
Like they have a great team. That's a team like we're saying about obviously the Sean Dyches, the Burnley. A team just gels together. They know each other, how they play. You can see there's a unity in the team. They work seamlessly together. They've got a lot of players that coming into the Premier League you wouldn't think would be that good. You've got like John Fleck in midfield. You got, I think is it Egan, one of their defenders?
Yeah, John Egan. Yeah,
and you've got like I think Chris Basham, I want to say, is one of their fullback. Them players, you'd hear them names coming into the Premier, you think, oh, like they're just average players. They were solid this season. They've recruited well again. Coming into the end of last season, obviously you've got a lot of players going down. They've been linked to a lot of like Bournemouth players. You've got like your Josh Kings and stuff like that, obviously. But I don't see a weakness in Sheffield's team at the moment for them to struggle.
No, I mean, I don't think they'll be as there is a thing called second season syndrome, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
And I think they'll suffer with that a little bit. Teams will have figured out how they play because it's a little bit different, but. Yeah, I do think they're a good side, and they're not in danger of getting relegated.
No way.
Yeah, really, really good team. I'm looking forward to seeing them again.
Yeah, and they just signed the Bournemouth keeper. It's not Mark.
Oh yeah, Dean. Not Dean Henderson. No, Aaron Ramsdale.
Aaron Ramsdale, and he was good for Bournemouth towards the end of the season. That was his breakthrough.
Yeah,
season.
He was.
So can he come through and give and basically take over good. Dean Henderson's spot? Because I don't think it's very likely that Dean Henderson's going back. I think there's all links saying that he's staying at United or is going to be United's number one. But then can you give all that praise to Dean Henderson last year? Because Sheffield's back line were great. Sometimes Dean Henderson would make mistakes in that thing. So bringing in a keeper with, I want to say the similar caliber, like they're young, they're both young players, similar ages. So, and he can improve. I think they brought him in. He's like 20 or like 21 or about kicking around that age. So he's only going to improve with the players around him. So you can't really complain. And to bring him in, I think they depend like, I don't want to ballpark. I want to say like 15 million for him. So that's in this day and age and transfer. If you're paying like 40 mil for Kepa and look at him, I just don't. I think they've done a decent plea there. Really,
very decent deal.
But yeah, going into 10th, as I said, I put West Ham. Don't really need to talk about West Ham. We already spoke about them.
Yeah, we reversed on that one. Yeah, I put Southampton in 10th.
Yeah, so it just everyone is different to what they think is going to happen. But yeah, for 9th, we've kind of not gone the same. We have not gone the same. I've gone for Wolves. I think Wolves obviously are a top 10 team, 100%. But I think now coming into the new season, a lot of these top 10 teams are a lot more competitive, like ridiculously competitive. Obviously, a couple of years ago, you wouldn't see Leicester knocking around. Obviously, they won the league, yes, but you wouldn't see them knocking around in the top 10. You'd see them as like a mid-table team. But now it's a lot more competitive, and I think Wolves obviously are taking the brunt of that. And for me, I don't think they're as competitive as the others around them. I think the others around them are a lot better than them. And I think they've got a really good team, and they've recruited well. Obviously, Adama Traore is a ridiculous player.
Yeah.
Obviously, hopefully they keep hold of him, and hopefully he stays in the Prem. If he does go anywhere, the Prem is hopefully where he goes, because he's an amazing player to watch. And I think Sky did like a series, or like a mini doc on him that was really interesting to watch. And it was like talking about like where he came from, obviously, because he started at the Barcelona Youth Academy, then went to Villa, and then went to Middlesbrough, and then went to And it's like it's so weird that he's done that, but now he's turned into like the amazing player he is. And I think they did say this. I think Tim Sherwood was the one that always said he's like a Messi and Ronaldo mix. I think he said in one of his press conferences. And you can kind of see that he's got the strength of Ronaldo, and he's technically very good. And he can always
very good. He's a very good player. Very good player.
And people they struggle to play him. I think against it was a Sevilla. You can hear the players shouting, being like, get back, get back, get back. Once he got on the ball, tackle him out, take him out, because they know he's just got lightning pace. And he's and I think that Wolves team around him does suit him as well. The tactics they play, obviously, you're holding midfielders, you Jose Moutinho and Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves. I was thinking I was getting the names wrong. So I think they have got quality players. I think Wolves are now cementing themselves as top 10 Premier League team. So I just think they got a decent team, and hopefully they'll do that. Obviously with the Europa League, they got to quite to the latter stages of the Europa League, and they did well. They're unlucky to lose, but hopefully next season, obviously they won't have Europa League next season, because I don't think they qualified within the spaces of Europa League. So
no, I think they didn't. I don't think they did. No.
So they've got less games as well, so they can concentrate more on the Prem, and hopefully, obviously there could be a cup run in there, which would be good for them. A Carabao Cup run, which would be good.
It'll probably give them a chance to go for the cup.
And their manager is very, very good. I think he's not very highly rated along like the top Premier League managers, but he's someone that is probably a very tricky manager to set your team up around, because he does like to switch it up. Like playing last year, he played Traore at like right back one game against City, then he moved him to like right wing. So it's always about his fermented his team and moving everyone around.
So Wolves have had a decent season actually, although they ended up finishing below us. They were actually much better. So they're I think they'll do a lot better this season. They're going to be stronger. Obviously, now that they've lost Doherty, it's going to be a little bit harder. But yeah, their recruitment's really, really good. So I think they'll do well this season.
Yeah,
go on.
I saw another thing. Obviously, I don't know how recent it was. Obviously, Doherty's just left for Spurs, so that's a good signing for them, of course. But I saw another thing saying Adama wasn't even used that much last season, like compared to like a full season. Dirty played on nearly all the games, so they're more going to try and utilize him in a right wing back position, which could see them bring in another striker, which would be quite interesting. Or obviously they're just putting that Ponce guy, I think, from Olympiacos, which will be quite interesting to see if he gets more games. And he was quite good before. I know before when it first started, I don't know, so going back like the start of the season or last season when Sporting Lisbon had all the trouble like with the selling players. They had to like sell all their players, and that's when they bought Raul Patricio. They were meant to buy Bruno Fernandes as well. They were heavily linked to Bruno Fernandes, Imagine right now if Bruno Fernandes was playing for that Wolves team.
That midfield three would just be unbelievable.
Unreal.
That'd be three Portugal, like probably the starting Portugal.
Yeah, line up. Yeah, I don't even know if Jose Moutinho gets into that Portuguese team.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm being a bit too.
I was going to say, that Portuguese team is ridiculous. But...
but yeah, I had Wolves in 7th, but for 9th, I actually had Everton. Obviously, it's quite hard to predict them right off the bat because the transfer window hasn't closed, and they may still make moves. They are making moves. They've got James Rodriguez and Alan from Napoli.
That seems
lined
like ridiculous.
Up. But I still think they are quite a few players away from being that team that will go close to the top 6. I don't think they've got.
Definitely.
I don't think they've got enough in the tank. Although with those 2 signings, it could make a huge difference.
I also heard something very interesting today as well. I was watching. I don't know. You know, Spencer FC. He does a thing on his Twitch stream. One of his mates or someone he's known for years is like a football agent, and he said today that it's near 50%. It's going to be either 50%. It's 50% over the line that John Stones is going to return to Everton. So I don't want to take that as Bible.
Wow, okay.
But he said it's about 50% true that John Stones could return to Everton. And to me,
that's mental.
With a John Stones, obviously he's not been that good for City, but with a John Stones in that team, I've said they're going to be 8th. They had a lackluster season last season. First season, Ancelotti's in charge. He's a great manager. He knows what he wants with his team. If he's going to bring in his James Rodriguez, he's going to bring in Alan. He needs them teams that are going to, he needs them players, that are going to pull the squad together. Imagine Richarlison with James Rodriguez in behind him. Like, that's a dream for him. I think that team, obviously, they're not very good against top 6 teams. I think last season they struggled a lot, but I'm going to say they're in 8th. That's where I really do think they're going to stay because they've got a good team. Yeah. It's just they don't have, I think, the ability to match, like you said, the top 6. I think it's just a battle with them. And as we said before, the teams around them getting better, it's harder for them to compete at such a high level with the top 6.
Yeah, no, I do. It might be a case where they turn up for some big games this season, but maybe they lack the consistency over the season, which will probably hurt them. But like if they can continue, if they have a good season, then they could be a springboard.
Definitely.
But yeah, like I had moving on a little bit. I had Leicester in 8th.
In 8th.
So we sort of like mixed our sort of 7th, 8th, and 9th around a little bit. But I had Leicester in 8th. I think they're going to have Europe this season, which is tough to manage. Brendan Rodgers, I don't think, has had many European campaigns.
It's just been Celtic, hasn't it, really? Celtic and Liverpool.
I think so.
Liverpool crashed out in their first campaign under Rodgers. I think it's like where Real Madrid literally smacked them. Like twice.
I think that's the case. Yeah. I'm not expecting massive things, but Leicester's still got a decent team. They've lost Chilwell now, which is massive.
But then they're bringing in that Timothy Castan or something like that.
Oh yeah,
right back from Atlanta, who was great in the Champions League last year. And obviously got the strength in them positions like Ricardo Pereira can play on the left and on the right. So if they can recruit well, if they can recruit not better than Ben Chilwell, but recruit along the similar levels, which that Castan seems to be, I think they've got a chance of like staying how consistent they were this season and maybe.
Yeah.
Like you said.
But I think we both agree that they won't breach top 6.
No, I think as we've been saying, too competitive
because of Europe. Like it's a long campaign.
Can that team manage a whole run in Europe at the same time as competing in the Premier League? I don't think so. From my point of view,
I don't either, and I think we both agree that they're going to be out of the top 6.
Yeah, and that's why I've put them in 7th as well. So.
I think they capitalised this season on both Arsenal and Tottenham being a bit
had mess seasons,
falling off a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think both of those teams will be back around the top 6 this season.
Yeah, 100%.
So should we go on to the top 6?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go first or.
Well, I have gone for maybe a little bit controversial, but I at the time of writing, Arsenal hadn't made the signings they had.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to. Well, it might change drastically, but I put them in sixth.
Yeah.
I think they're again like it's really hard to judge because I don't watch them a lot.
No.
And I don't really know what goes on with their squad and their players, and I know the sort of overview, but I still don't think they've got enough.
Yes.
They're doing well to add to their defence. Like they've got Saliba coming back; he looks pretty good.
Yeah, and they've just signed like Gabriel something.
They've got Gabriel that they've signed, so they're adding to their sort of problems. Well, no, not adding to their problems. They're trying to find solutions for their problems.
Yeah.
So applaud them for that. But they may be a little bit young, the two centre backs, so it might take them a while to adjust to the league.
Yeah, that's what's
also got a little bit of experience there with them. So you never really know with Arsenal. But I put them in sixth, and I think that's maybe I'll probably bump them up one or two.
Bit controversial for me. I've gone for Tottenham to be in sixth. When I was writing it, I was like, the top four obviously is very competitive, and obviously Arsenal and Spurs normally get that fourth or fifth or sixth place. And I think after the restart of this season, Tottenham just didn't look that great. I think they grinded out results like they do all season, but they have them tendencies to like lose to the Burnleys, lose to the West Hams on random occasions. Like, and you see things like that happen. That can happen with every Premier League team, but I think obviously it's going to be Mourinho's first full season, so you can kind of give him a bit of leeway with that. He's going to be able to bring in players he wants to. Like things like they were saying, Tangba and Ndombele is just now going to be a make way for. He's out of the club, and I don't know what. See, the thing is with the Spurs, I don't know what they need to bring in to make the team better. They've got a lot of good players, but I think it's just how well they work together. That's the only reason I think mainly I've put at sixth, because I think they've got good players that deserve to play for that Tottenham team, but are they world beaters yet? I think some of them just need to bed in a little more. Like you got players like Lamela, who has been in the Prem for a long time now, who when he came was really high rated, but I haven't really seen. I wouldn't say I've seen what you thought he's gonna build up the heights to. And then obviously you got the loss of Eriksen. Can they buy in? Obviously you got Bergwijn you brought in. Is he the Lamela? Not the Lamela, the Eriksen replacement? Yes, on a wing perspective, but in the centre you got Dele Alli. Is he good enough to play there? Do they need a better player? Do they need a Jose Mourinho-like player in that centre mid spot? But for me, I don't know, as I'm saying the whole time, which is going to be my main reason, not excuse, sorry, is the league is just so much more competitive. There's so many, they're bringing in so many more players that are great players you don't even realise. And I think for Spurs, they have really good youth and they have a lot of players coming through, but also with the loss of Jan Vertonghen, are they going to be able to replace him at centre-back with someone as good as him? That's where I'm just a bit like, and there hasn't been that much talk, I don't think, about bringing in a replacement centre back, has there?
Yeah.
So that is my only reason for giving it six without Jan Vertonghen being in that team and having that sure defence. I think Davinson Sanchez last season came in good games, gave all he could, but could he develop into a Jan Vertonghen-like player? Yeah, sure. But I don't know if he's going to do it this season. And maybe it's good for Spurs to have a season outside of Europe or just in Europa League or something like that for them to like bed in with Mourinho, but then can they keep these top players? It's all up in the air. But for me, that's where I think I could be completely wrong. But yeah.
Yeah. I will get on to Spurs.
Yeah.
I will get on to Spurs because I've got them a little bit higher. But you're right what you're saying. The league is getting a lot more competitive and you don't want to see yourself sort of drop off, which is why I'm quite glad that we're making signings.
Yeah.
They've been smart signings as well in areas that we need, which is quite encouraging.
Yeah.
I'll get on to Spurs and how I feel they'll perform when I get to them.
So I think with my fifth, I've gone for Arsenal. So the two North London sides, I've gone for Arsenal on top. I just feel like they've had a really good reset to the season. I think the only team they've lost to is Chelsea. And in pre-season, they've been good. I know the Community Shield isn't a massive tournament, but they seemed good with the new signings bedding in. As you said, some new signings coming in, obviously shoring up that defence now. But it just feels like I have too many defenders now. So I think a couple will be out the window, which is going to happen. I think under giving the second half of the season under Arteta, giving him a full time for the squad to bed in together, to know the players seem to want to play for Arteta, and Arteta has a very good style of football that he's bedding in well with Arsenal. I think they might just be a surprise. I feel like with the players they're going to have in, and I think they've got a bit more money this season than they did last season. Obviously last season they brought in Pepe for a lot of money, but I just feel maybe with bringing in that centre back, I just feel like it's going to change them, because I think last season they didn't really have that sure thing of being in the back. They were always changing their partnerships. They've never really had a solidified partnership since the Koscielny and Mertesacker. So, and then things like, but then I could be completely wrong, as Hector Bellerin's been linked to PSG. If he goes, obviously a lot of Arsenal fans and Arteta has a lot of faith in Ainsley Miles-Harriet. I think it's like that, isn't it? His name?
Yeah, Maitland-Niles.
Maitland-Niles, that's it. I think they have a lot of faith in him, and they've said that he can cover that role for Bellerin. So I don't know. That's just how I feel that's going to happen. They've had a strong start. They've had a good transfer window. They've still got a lot more time to bring in a lot more players, and we'll just have to see, really.
Yeah. No, I agree. They have made smart signings, which is basically what everyone's been forced into trying to do this coronavirus window or whatever it is. It's a little bit longer now, I think, but yeah, like they've made some good signings, and I can see why you put them in fifth, to be honest.
Yeah, I just feel like that's just easy.
Yeah, it's his first full season, and you never know what might happen. This is the Premier League, so
yeah, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Excuse me. So in fifth, another controversial one for me. I've gone for Chelsea, and I can hear all the Chelsea fans having a go at me, who might listen to this. But this was made. Well, this list was made about maybe a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks. They hadn't made most of their transfers. Saying that, I probably wouldn't put them much higher.
Okay.
Down to the fact that from what I saw of them last season, their defense was the reason that they sort of lost a lot of games, or lost games that they shouldn't have, or maybe had like a defensive mishap or whatever.
Yeah.
And all the players that they've brought, albeit they've started to address that now with Thiago Silva, have been attackers.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that they were overly needed.
Yeah.
Of course, like you're gonna be better with Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, and Kai Havertz in your team.
Yeah.
Where they quite fit in, I don't know. I don't know Chelsea's tactics, but it looks like they're all going to be able to play together, and they're all going to cause havoc. But it's the other end where I think they might be a little bit just top heavy, and that's the reason probably why I put them a little bit lower.
Yeah, I can see your point of view, definitely. I think for me, I'll go on to why I've put them in the position, but I do understand what you mean, and I feel like the transfers they brought in is very smart. They just need to obviously deal with one key issue that everyone can see in the club, being their goalkeeper, and they just haven't. They've been linked to Oblak, and nothing's been said. They're more focused on their defence. But if Kepa or Caballero gets a better defence in front of them and they're more thing, you never know what can happen. Caballero could be a good win Gold Glove, like with a good defence behind him. You never know. They could even bring in like, is it Nick Pope? He's in the England squad. That would be a good signing for them. There's links to the little goalkeeper. I think it's Mike Magan or Mate.
Oh yeah.
I can't know how you pronounce it, but something like that.
Him, yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I don't think there's anything else to cover really with Chelsea. They've done well in the transfer window, but going on to fourth, I won't ruin where I've put Chelsea. Going on to fourth, I've gone with United.
Okay.
Obviously, as a City fan, you don't like to see United doing very well, but you've got to give it to them. This season, they have been very lucky with referees' decisions. Bruno Fernandes come in. He's kind of shithoused the league with everything. Everything just seems to go his way. He just seems to get a penalty over like they're stepping over someone's leg and he gets the penalty. Who knows? But you can't lie and say they don't have a good squad. They do have a really good squad, and they've just signed Van der Beek today. So that does give them a bit more leniency to do a bit well. And you've obviously got the young players coming through. The Greenwoods, who now have got an England call up. I just feel like they're going to be great. And it's not going to be nice to see from our perspective, because we've all loved to see United struggle. But with the restart to last season, they've done well. The Europa League, they did decent for them, or they did well, to be fair. But it's just, I think the players under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now know what he wants to play. I think they've got that solidified now, the style of football he wants, and the players do want to play for him. And I think he's put in the style of football, and I think the players are all corresponding to that and know what to do in those situations.
It seems like a lot of the players that have been playing there now have been playing there for like a good 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So they're starting to understand what is expected of them, like as a Manchester United player. And a lot of their players are taking on a little bit more responsibility. And it's quite interesting that I think 3 of their players scored over 20 goals this season.
Yeah.
I think Greenwood, Rashford and Martial each got over 20 goals this season. So their forward line is packed full of goals. And if you had Van der Beek, Fernandes, Pogba, it's just their defence that they need to sort out. Maybe they're a bit top heavy again, but they can.
But then you haven't seen Pogba. That's
pain.
Another thing for me is giving United top 4 is you haven't seen Pogba perform to his best. And you had hints of that last season. You had hints of that the season before when he first came in. It's again with the pairing, like who do they put in midfield? Obviously Matic a couple of seasons ago was torn out of that United squad. Oh, he's a worse player to play for United, and now he's at the end of last season, he's played well and he got his place back. So you never know with footballers and football. There could just be that killer partnership that does tear the Premier apart. Or I don't know how United tearing the Premier League apart. But it seems to work with Pogba and Bruno Fernandes. They seem to work really well together. And I think United just need to sign a couple of people in the defensive part, like you said. And I think they should be back to a top 4 team, or are back to a top 4 team.
They've got a real pacey front line, and that's the danger for any team. So I think they're pretty good, and I think top 4 is where I'll put them as well.
Yeah.
But on to 4 for me, and I have put my beloved Tottenham. Mainly because we are making some smart signings. Mourinho is in charge, and depending on his objectives, we've got Europa League. Yeah. So I think that he will try and focus on winning that, which probably will make the league a little bit unattainable. But I think that he is so focused on winning something and being successful with any club he's at. He will probably do anything in his power to make that happen. And I think he's got a proven track record of doing this sort of stuff, pulling off these sort of results. You think of like that Man United team, like the most recent time they've been second, it's been Mourinho's team.
Yeah.
So like it's his second season as well. Like I'm not really superstitious for all that bollocks, but
yeah.
I also think we're adding together like quite a nice squad.
I think they're all like the unit of the squad, and the morale is, you can tell that they work together and they want to but as you said, the smart transfers when they bring, because have they signed anyone?
Who, Tottenham?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've signed Pierre-Emile Højbjerg.
Okay,
who's a central midfielder who we desperatally needed.
Yeah, and he can cover right back.
Yeah, he can cover a lot of positions. Seems quite a smart player. He can win. We needed a ball winner last year. We had no ball winner, no defensive midfielder. He's that option. Our right back, Serge Aurier for all of the season.
Yeah,
dreadful.
Yeah,
created a lot of chances, scored a few goals, but gave away a penalty every other game. Matt Doherty, quite.
Forgot about this.
Option.
Great signing.
Option.
And for barely any money either, wasn't it? Like max 16 million.
Yeah, no one's gonna no one's going to jump out of the seat and go, "Oh yeah, we've signed the best right back ever." But like, he is sensible. He's very, very good.
And I think he suits that Mourinho style of football. To be fair, I don't know if I said earlier that they want to sign people that have, and they have really like. And I think it was Matt Doherty was statistically like one of the best, or like second or third best right backs in the league last season.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah,
you never know, they can do this.
It's a very smart signing, and then Joe Hart is just a little bit of like
of course everyone loves Joe Hart.
Increase the homegrown sort of thing, but
quota.
Yeah, we've been linked with a lot of other defensive midfielders as well. So our midfield is definitely needs shaking up, but. I'm quite excited about how the season's going to go because Dele Alli's looked good in pre-season. Our attack is looking pretty good. Bergwijn, I'm excited for.
Yeah, and he'll get a full season as well, which will be really good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kane was looking really, really sharp towards the end of the season. So, yeah, that's why I put him in fourth because I think we'll try and focus on the Europa League campaign and try and win something.
Yeah, definitely. So for going on, as we've said before, I'm now revealing obviously who I've put a third is Chelsea. I've said all the signings, they were really good. Bringing in Timo Werner, bringing in Thiago Silva, even though he might not have the legs for a whole season, he's going to be that person in the changing room that they all look up to, that could bring that character to the dressing room. They've probably been missing since John Terry as a leader in that dressing room, because who have they really had in the last couple of years that's going to speak out for them when things are going wrong or things are going right, to bring the morale straight back up? And I think that is good for them. There's obviously a lot of things. There's links that N'Golo Kante could be leaving and things like that. But obviously, if he does, Spurs definitely have enough. Chelsea definitely have enough midfielders to suit that. And then they're linked to Declan Rice as well. So that's what I mean. It just seems like a sure thing that if anything goes wrong in that Chelsea team, with Frank Lampard as manager throughout this transfer window, they're going to have something to combat them. Yes, they didn't score a lot of goals last season. Bring in Timo Werner, one of the top scorers in the Bundesliga. Need someone that's going to play on the wing that can bring pace, passing, shooting. They bring in Ziyech. Obviously, they have Pulisic as well, which I don't know what his role is going to be next year, which would be a weird one because they've got so many attacking players, as you said. But obviously, then the rotation with them players are going to be ridiculous. So they're going to be the squad depth on that team, is going to match a team like City's or a team like Liverpool, like that can just bring in these players that will replace them near to like current ability. But that's what I mean. They could just bring in a couple more players. Obviously, left back, they've always had a problem at left back with Chelsea in the last 3 years. Signing a guy that kills people and a guy from Italy that doesn't seem to. A guy from Italy that plays a couple of odd games and has screamers, and then the next just plays terrible. So they've seemed to shore up, bringing in an Englishman as well, which is good for their quotas as well. So they can sign more foreign players.
I don't understand where all this money's coming from. Though.
Yeah,
just seems like they've just
Roman Abramovich. But then, to be fair, and they've just brought in that Marlon Sarr, who they've loaned out for a season, but. They got him for free, which I don't see how. I don't see how they got him for free.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that. But,
so they say his contract's expired, but for me, he's under 21, is he not? Yeah, he is. So they have to pay They have to pay a settlement fee or something, don't they? But then they might have got out of that by loaning him to them and then not charging for the loan, and then Chelsea paying their loan deal. But figures, fair play to them. They're a good team, and I don't see if they bring in that keeper. I think they will get that top four squad or top four place. Sorry, and I think there will be a massive team to be reckoned with.
Yeah. So you got them in third.
Yeah, I've got them in third.
Yeah. See, I've gone for Manchester United in third. Like you, I think they'll have a strong season. They'll get into top four. It's just whether they can get all their squad, all their team, working to a level where they were just before the break.
Yeah. Just
before the enforced break. They looked really good. And after as well, they looked pretty good. But I think, they have been quite fortunate with penalties.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of decisions. And if that carries on next year, then they're going to win a lot more matches. It's just a fact. So yeah, like I've got them in third because I think their attacking unit is just unbelievable, and I can only see their front three getting better. Mason Greenwood's going to explode.
That's what I mean. They've got more time, more games. Greenwood's obviously got his call up for the England squad as well.
He's going to explode.
He's going to be great, and he's a great signing, great player they got from the youth academy that you never know. The little gems that are in there, you play them one game and they score a couple goals. Like Marcus Rashford is literally the Rashford experience straight again. Like he's come in, scored goals, stayed in the squad, and shows that he can be there. And they didn't really have a player in that. Daniel James was the only player in that position that took up his place, really. Or your Juan Mata, who are players that, like your Mata's now aging, who doesn't play every single game. So you're having someone that brings in. And then your Daniel James, obviously, I don't know if he's as good as United thought he was, or he's not obviously had the best season, but they've done well when they've not recruited, but they've invested in their youth where they need it. Yeah,
I think Greenwood reminds me of how Harry Kane burst onto the scene. Like he was on the peripheral, scored load of goals, and then finally when he's been trusted, he's just absolutely
done it. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of his, as you can probably tell. But I've got United third.
Yeah, so going up, do we want to go on to the second and first?
Second and first, yeah.
Which
so we've both got the same.
We both agreed, which is, to be fair, similar ideology. We both can see what's probably going to happen with, obviously, updating what's going on at the moment. Obviously, you got Messi talks with, we're going to give it away now. We've both gone for City at first and Liverpool in second.
Maybe personally, a bit biased.
Yeah, maybe a bit biased, but personally, I'll give my reason for Liverpool being in second. I'll do that first because that's easier. So Liverpool, they're an amazing team. They've got all these players that aren't world beaters, but Klopp's turned them into world beaters, and they've done ridiculously well. Like Jordan Henderson is now probably one of the most successful Liverpool captains in many years, and that team is so good, and that style that they play was not really, it's like it's a Gegenpress, they call it, wasn't very well known in the Prem. Not a lot of teams played it. It was a very Klopp German tactic brought into the Prem and suited the Liverpool players down to a T, and they played it amazing. But 2 seasons they've played that now, where obviously in the first season when Klopp came in, it didn't work amazingly well, but they've adapted to it. But do you not think throughout the time that teams have played against this style of football, they're now going to be able to adapt to that, and they know what they can kind of do to stop these sort of things happening? Obviously, with the Salah thing last year, City put 2 players on him. They put Laporte, a left back, and a centre back on him just to cover that. And obviously, it didn't work. Liverpool still managed to abuse that with Salah. But I really do think that if Liverpool now where they are, there's a lot of links now saying that Wijnaldum's going to leave. He's going to Barcelona, because obviously Barcelona are meant to be doing this new remaking the team, and Ronald Koeman's the manager. So it seems like he might be out the door. And is Naby Keita good enough to fill that spot? I don't think so, in my opinion. And if then, as we've always said, if they get an injury to a key player, can they replace them in their squad depth? Yeah, in multiple positions. And I think, I don't know, I just feel like teams around them are going to adapt. So yeah, with the Liverpool squad being as strong as they are, I don't think they're going to be able to keep that strong. Obviously, losing Wijnaldum maybe to Barcelona as Koeman's a manager, and I think there's been reports that he's had talks to, and obviously Wijnaldum and Liverpool are very, very, I don't know how to call it, but they're not pally, but they are the team that they are very close as players and a club and a board, and I think that's a dream move for Wijnaldum, and I think they're going to let him do it, and not for that much money as well, because they want to see Wijnaldum get to where he needs to go. And I think when they lose key players like that, can they play in that sort of momentum, and can they keep that up? I don't know, and I don't think they are going to be as strong. And I think, obviously, I'll just say now, going into first, I've said Man City, and I think with the signing of a new centre back and maybe Messi, that's going to make that team unreal, unbeatable. And I was watching something, and they were saying that signing of Koulibaly, it might be, who is looking like it is Koulibaly, but it's been bartering around with price and everything. someone like that is going to be a lot more effective than bringing in a Messi who might play a certain amount of games and can only play for 2 years. But someone like Koulibaly coming in can play for a lot of years, and he can be someone on the team sheet that brings that defense just solid. That makes that defense scary to play against compared to a centre-back pairing of Otamendi and Laporte. That makes you scared. If Koulibaly's in there, he's a fast centre-back. He will adapt to the Premier League. I'm sure he can adapt to the Premier League. He's a certain player that will play with that power and aggression as something that a centre-back in the Premier League. I wouldn't want to say he plays like Van Dijk, but he's got similar stature as Van Dijk. He's tall, he's fast, and he's strong. And in the Premier League, as a centre-back like that, for me, it's that's what you want in your centre back in the Premier League. And the level he's played at with Napoli, he can play in these big games. Obviously, I know the African Cup of Nations is not regarded as a massive competition, but he's played in that for years. He's played against these players in the Champions League and the Europa League. And I feel like once he beds into a team and having a manager like Pep Guardiola with him, I think that'll be a great defense. And then even with a added bonus, if we get Messi, it's looking extremely likely at the moment. He either signs or the Barcelona board resigns. So, from the Barca perspective, I think they just want him out of the club now because he's brought so much tarnish to the reputation and all these things. But if you have that Messi in the squad, I think City are a massive team to reckon with. I think it just changes everything. And obviously, we made these lists before the whole Messi thing was linked. So making the Messi thing linked, it's just going to be unreal. Yeah,
probably strengthens the case.
That's what I mean. It's going to be ridiculous. And them games where you can't, Aguero's not scoring, Jesus is having a bad day, Sterling can't score goals. Champions League, perfect opportunity to talk about. Champions League against Leon, sorry. Sterling missing that. Do you think Messi's going to miss that? There's no way Messi will miss that. I'm sorry. That's perfect opportunity to bring in someone like that. Although it's going to be hard to see where he plays because we've got so many players in them depths. Obviously, we've lost Sané, but we brought in Fernand Torres, who seems to probably going to be in and around the squad. I don't think he's going to be the starting winger, but it's then someone's going to lose their place, or they're going to adapt the formation and put Messi in there. But if you buy Messi, Messi has to play every game. So it'll just see what Pep does. And obviously, the whole stature around having Messi at a Premier League team will be massive for the Premier League anyway. So, all in all, that's my opinion. I'll let you talk now. I've rambled on there.
So, I agree with most of your points, actually. On Liverpool, I'll probably say that as a team who's watched their sort of club stand still a little bit, I'm a little bit worried about the lack of transfer activity for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Albeit it's completely different because they have won the league and they've won the league so far away from everyone else that they're probably sitting back thinking, all right, we'll make a few additions here. We won't go overboard.
Have they signed anyone though?
Winning squad already. I think they signed one player.
They signed that left back, didn't they?
I think so, yeah. They signed him pretty early on, I think, as well.
Yeah. But
yeah, they have got that title-winning squad, and they won it by such a margin. They're probably waiting for everyone else to catch up. Having said that, Pep Guardiola, like a rebounding Pep Guardiola, is something to be feared by the whole entire world.
And with a squad,
he can build his team now. He's sort of got unlimited, he's got like
unlimited resources.
Pressure. Yeah. He's got no real pressure, and he's literally going to be given money by the City's board to just go and revamp his squad. It tends to happen over every 3 years anyway. Like a squad needs refreshing. With Liverpool, this is sort of like their third year of like being this sort of super club.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've done enough yet.
Obviously they're linked to Thiago. I think that's the main one. That's what I was saying. That if Jorginho goes, if Wijnaldum, goes,
you are right.
Yeah, he'll be the replacement. But I don't know. It's just been pushed further and further back. I think it was such a key story at the start, but I haven't heard about the situation in a while. But I'm sorry, why would he want to leave? My question is, why would he want to leave Bayern Munich? They've just won the Champions League. I think he was man of the match in that game as well. Like he's one of their best players. So I don't.
He has been there for quite a while. I think he left Barcelona like quite a while ago, and was very successful at Bayern, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think if he signs, it might be a little bit of a game changer. Like they've got a really, really good midfielder there who can keep the ball. But yeah, I just think that it's more in the case that Manchester City are going to be a different beast next season.
Yeah, I think, and the Prem's just going to be different.
Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
All your players, they tend to bounce back pretty well. Obviously not in the Champions League, but
yeah. Better not to speak about
that. Yeah, but in the Premier League, it seems to be whenever he's faced with any sort of questioning about his ability, Pep Guardiola always finds an answer, and I think that's the main reason why I put Man City above Liverpool.
Definitely, and obviously City are going to struggle without the loss of David Silva. I feel it might be a bit of a start of season. It's going to be the adjusting point to it. Who do you have? But then that's what they brought in Bernardo Silva many moons ago, because we could always see him changing that position. Yes, he can play wide, and through his start of his City career, he played a lot wide, and he has played a couple of games this season wide and central. And I think that will be the pivotal thing. And then you've got Phil Foden coming through, so I don't think it's going to be as a massive loss as we've I think that everyone feels. I think that we have got players that can play that position and that can not. I don't think will ever mass to his stature in the Premier League or get to that. Obviously, you've got De Bruyne firing on all cylinders, but I think with the players that Pep has on his disposal and the amount of money he has in his disposal, if he brings in Messi, I don't think we've really got to worry about anything going into the season. We have a great squad with obviously bringing in Ake as well, who's a decent signing. I think with obviously the loss of some centre-backs, which is planned to happen, I think Stones will probably definitely leave. I think it's either a new contract or he leaves. Because I don't think he's going to want to stay out the last couple of years in his contract. At his years, he needs to be playing in and out football every week. Yeah. So yeah, in my opinion, that's all I've got to say for that.
I'm pretty much done as well. I think well, my predictions don't normally go right, but I feel pretty confident about this one.
We can always revisit this in a year's time and see how well we've done. Maybe put a little barter on there, see what we do. But we can keep up to date, hopefully, with everything going on when the Prem returns. If we're able to watch it, we can make more videos and stuff like that about the Premier League, about games like we did at uni with the radio, but now just on a podcast. Yeah. And with the thing of Zoom, it's just great because we do it from 2 different locations and not even have to worry. But if you want to
try and be a little bit more active.
It's just finding time really, both working. Well. But we'll see what happens. And if there's anything people want to see or want to be talked about, leave them in the comments below. We also have launched our Instagram account. If you want to follow that, it's at FT Show. I'm pretty sure it's that. I think it is that. Yeah, it is that. Let's just say it is that, because it definitely is that. So yeah, thanks for watching. And if you do disagree with anything we said, put it in the comments why. Tell us why.
It's the FT Show.
The FT Show, sorry, yeah. The FT Show. So yeah, thanks for watching. And I'm sure we'll have some more content coming out soon. Make sure to keep up with the Instagram account where we'll be posting stuff about future videos, questions, and you can get involved maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're very new to this, and hopefully we can make more videos and entertain more people. We don't know. From me,
always entertaining.
Yeah, we try. So that's the best thing to do. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon.
See you soon.